Tonight I'll give you two exercises to help solve low back pain. The first is related to sitting. Because we're in a culture that sits almost all the time, we get tight and tonically shortened here in the hip flexors. More specifically, the short hip flexors. I'm talking about pectineus and gracilis and adductor magnus. Those muscles get short over time, and there's one thing that you can do to undo them. Actually, there are many things you can do. Here's one example. This is called the Samson stretch. So you just get down on one knee and get your other knee up here at about 90 degrees. You want to squeeze your butt as hard as you can so that your spine actually, or your pelvis tucks underneath your spine, okay? For example, I'm going to show you from the side here. If I'm normally hanging out in a little bit of extra lordosis and I want to get rid of that and clean that up, so I'm going to squeeze my butt, and you can see how my pelvis tucks right underneath my spine, and that puts me in a better position to do this stretch, okay? So now, with my butt squeezed tight, I'm going to go ahead and take a deep breath, blow all the way out and make my abs tight. That way my pelvis is locked into a good position before I add on some tension, okay? Now I'm just going to kind of slide forward or translate my pelvis forward, and I can feel some tension come about from the front of my hip there. I want to hang out there until I stop, and then I want to do something called contract relax, and this will help your muscles relax a lot easier, okay? So what you want to do, take a deep breath, blow all the way out, make your stomach tight. Now you want to try and scissor your knees. So I'm going to pull this knee forward and this one backward. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I relax those muscles, keeping my butt squeezed tight, and I can get a little bit further into that stretch. And you repeat that 2 or 3 times. Maybe go through the stretch holding it for about a total of 2 minutes, okay? So that's stretch number 1. Okay, the other stretch that I'm going to give you that's going to help you solve low back pain is getting the hip into the back of the socket is another important thing. Sitting all the time, that's one thing that pushes your femur up to the front of the hip socket, so then we kind of lose some of that capsular space on the back side. This is an easy mobilization that you can do at home or at work, wherever you are, that'll help kind of push that joint into the back of the socket. And that's very important for all of your muscles to fire. Imagine this being the ball, this being the ball, this being the socket. Your body works best if this ball is touching all portions of that socket, okay? If it's not, say for example it's slid to one side like that and you're not making any contact over here, then all those receptors there that communicate to the brain where you are in space aren't getting stimulated, okay? And therefore your brain's not able to tell the musculature surrounding that joint how to fire properly. So typically we'll see that muscles in the glutes will become weak. They're not actually weak, they just aren't getting the information that they need, okay? So here's the stretch. You want to get down on all fours like this, and if I want to work on my right hip, then I'm going to take my right leg and cross it over my left. Actually, I can cross it under my left and stick my leg out like that. Good. Then I'm going to keep my butt squeezed slightly. I'm going to push my hips over to the right so that I'm no longer over my knee. My knee is now just about underneath my opposite hip joint, okay? And now when I feel like I'm in a good spot there, I'll feel tension come along the side of my hip here, and then I want to kind of sit back into it, okay? So now I'm all the way over, and now I'm going to sit back a little bit, and that's where I feel a really good stretch. And you can tinker around with it. Maybe you twist one way or twist the other way, and find out where the stretch is most comfortable and, or rather uncomfortable, the right intensity for you, okay? I'd hold this one for about, I'd say about 2 minutes minimum, maybe even try and do it for 2 minutes, take a rest break, and go for another 2 minutes, okay? But integrating that and the previous stretch into your daily mobility routine is really going to help with your low back pain. It's going to help your pelvis get into a better position, and you'll be less likely to have this chronic discogenic low back pain that most people running around have, okay? I'm happy to help out. Please leave a comment. If you have any questions, reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to try and help you with that.